There is a quiet kind of power that most people never discover, because they spend their entire lives explaining themselves. They explain their choices. They explain the dreams. They explain their silence. They explain who they are, over and over again. But here is the truth that changes everything. The moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment you take your power back. Because not everyone is asking to understand you. Some are asking so they can judge you. Some are asking so they can control you. And others, we're never going to accept you no matter how clearly you speak. So why keep explaining? Why keep exhausting yourself trying to make people comfortable with a life they are not living? Stoic philosophy teaches something deeper, something stronger. It teaches that your peace is more important than being understood. And once you truly understand this, your life begins to change. Think about the last time someone misunderstood you. Maybe they judged your decision. Maybe they questioned your intentions. Maybe they made assumptions about your life without knowing your story. And what did you do? You probably tried to explain. You tried to clarify. You tried to make them see your side. But did it work? Or did it leave you feeling drained, frustrated, and still misunderstood? This is where most people get trapped. They believe that if they just say it better, explain it clearer, try harder, then people will finally understand. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. It teaches that understanding is not something you can force. It must come from the other person, and if they are not willing, no amount of explanation will ever be enough. There is a powerful shift that happens when you accept this. You stop trying to control how others see you. You stop trying to manage their opinions. You stop trying to win every misunderstanding. And instead, you focus on something far more important. You focus on yourself, on your actions, on your discipline, on your growth. Because in the end, your life is not meant to be explained. It is meant to be lived. One of the strongest lessons you can learn is this. People who truly understand you do not need constant explanations. And people who are determined to misunderstand you will never be satisfied with your explanations. So where does that leave you? It leaves you with a choice. You can keep explaining, or you can start living. There is a hidden danger in over-explaining that most people never notice. Every time you explain yourself unnecessarily, you are silently asking for approval. You are saying, please understand me. Please agree with me. Please validate me. And while that may seem harmless, it slowly weakens your sense of self. Because your confidence becomes dependent on how others respond. If they agree, you feel good. If they don't, you start doubting yourself. That is not power, that is dependence. True power is different. True power says, I know who I am. I know why I do what I do. And I do not need everyone to agree. That kind of confidence is quiet. It does not argue. It does not chase approval. It does not explain itself to everyone who asks. It simply exists. And that is why it is so powerful. There will be moments when silence feels uncomfortable. Moments when someone challenges you, questions you, misunderstands you. And every part of you wants to respond, to defend yourself, to correct them, to set the record straight. But pause for a moment, ask yourself, is this explanation necessary, or am I just reacting? Because not every situation deserves your words. Some situations deserve your silence. Silence is often misunderstood. People think silence means weakness. They think it means you have nothing to say, or nothing to defend. But in reality, silence can be one of the strongest responses you have. Because it shows control, it shows discipline, it shows that you are not easily pulled into unnecessary conflict. And in a world where everyone reacts instantly, that level of control is rare. Another important truth: some people do not want clarity. They want reaction. They want you to explain, so they can twist your words. They want you to defend yourself, so they can challenge you. They want your energy, and the moment you stop giving it to them, they lose their power over you. This is why Stoicism teaches emotional discipline. Not because emotions are bad, but because uncontrolled reactions can cost you your peace. When you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you become more selective. You choose when to speak. You choose when to engage. You choose where your energy goes. And that choice is power. Imagine living a life where you are not constantly defending yourself. Where you are not overthinking every conversation. Where you are not replaying situations in your mind wondering what you should have said. Imagine the peace that comes with that. The clarity, the freedom, that is what happens when you stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. Another lesson: your actions will always speak louder than your words. You can explain your intentions all day, but people will judge you by what you do. So instead of explaining your goals, work on them. Instead of explaining your growth, show it. Instead of explaining your worth, live it, because in time, the right people will see it and the wrong people were never meant to understand anyway. There is also strength in walking away. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every argument deserves your response. Not every person deserves your explanation. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is step back. Not out of fear, but out of self-respect. As you begin to practice this, something interesting will happen. Your circle will change. Some people will drift away, because they no longer get the reactions they used to. Others will respect you more, because they see your self-control. And you will feel lighter, calmer, stronger. You will also notice that your mind becomes quieter. You are no longer trying to manage everyone's opinion. You are no longer trying to be understood by people who do not care. You are no longer explaining your life to an audience that is not invested in your growth. And that silence becomes your strength. There is a deep confidence that comes from knowing yourself, from trusting your decisions, from understanding your values. And when you have that, you do not feel the need to explain yourself constantly, because you are already clear within. This does not mean you never communicate. It means you communicate with intention. You speak when it matters. You explain when it is necessary. You engage when it is meaningful. But you do not waste your energy trying to convince everyone. Because the truth is, not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Not everyone is meant to agree with your choices. Not everyone is meant to stay. And that is okay. Your life is not a debate. It is not something you have to defend at every turn. It is your path, your responsibility, your story, and you have every right to live it without constant explanation. So from this moment forward, start observing. Notice when you feel the urge to explain yourself. Notice when you feel the need to justify your decisions. And ask yourself, is this necessary? Or am I giving away my power? And slowly, begin to choose differently. Choose silence when it serves you. Choose action over explanation. Choose self-respect over approval. Because at the end of the day, your power was never in your words. It was in your ability to stand firm, without needing to explain. If this message spoke to you, if you are ready to stop over-explaining, and start living with confidence, then this is just the beginning. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Because here, we are building strength. We are building discipline. We are building a mindset that cannot be shaken. Stay silent when it matters. Stay strong when it's difficult. And never forget, you do not need to explain yourself to take your power back.